Hey Fit Friends, it's your Fit Coach Jene, and I'm so excited to see you because it's been some time. We haven't talked in a long time, but I'm glad to be here today. I've got some awesome topics to talk about today that I know you're going to benefit from. This is the Temple Health and Wellness, where we talk about everything related to your health. Well, I've got one particular topic that we're going to divvy into, and what I would recommend if you are really trying to get some good health and transform your health is that you take notes on what we talk about today, because it's one of my favorite topics in the world to talk about. Anyhow, what have you been up to? Because I've been up to some awesome things. I know you guys hadn't seen me in a month or so, but we're back and we're in action and we're ready to go. I'm working on some things just for you that I know you're going to love. I hope that you're following me on social media, Jene Nichole, JeneNichole, to find out what's happening in the fitness world and what I'm doing, what I have coming up next, because we've got some awesome events here in Atlanta, some awesome things going on online. We've got our Pounds online fitness program coming. So many great things, but you got to follow me on social media so you can stay abreast of what's going on in the fitness world. Anyway, I'm so excited because we're going to jump right into this topic. And because I've got a lot to talk to you about, we're going to just go for it, okay? Go get your notepad and your pen or your device where you can take your notes and things like that, because we are talking about dieting. Oh my gosh. So I know that we've talked about dieting before, and I really love talking about dieting, specifically because everyone is dieting. I know, right? We've talked about this, and it's kind of like, okay, we've been there, we've done that, we've heard all this before. Well, not what we're going to talk about today. And here's the thing, this is just my belief. With America at a over 70% obesity rate, you can never stop talking about dieting enough. You could never you could never give away too many dieting tips and too many things to help people to get healthy. The funny thing is, so many of our diseases and things that we struggle with come from our diets and the things that we eat, our lifestyles. So that's why we tend to talk about dieting a lot. But more specifically, we're not just talking about dieting. I want to talk to you about a popular trend that has been going on, that everyone is trying now, that everyone has fallen in love with, and we're going to talk about whether it's actually beneficial or not. So it's called the keto diet. Okay, so let's get into this thing, because so many people are like emailing me and they're calling and they're like, hey, I heard about this new thing, this keto diet. I want to try it. I'm trying to lose weight. Is it the right thing to do or not? So today I'm going to tell you what I think about the keto diet amongst other diets and how dieting works. So here's my thing. When it comes to the keto diet, well, before we even get into the keto diet, diets specifically, diets are always designed to decrease some particular area within your habits, not enough to balance your lifestyle. Okay, so for instance, you had the Atkins diet, which is similar to the keto diet, actually, where you're eating more meat, but then you're decreasing things like your carbohydrates. And then you had other types of diets where you're not eating any meats at all and you're only eating vegetables, like the cabbage diet. Then you had the Simply Slender diet, which was the Master Cleanse diet, where you're not consuming food. Then you have intermittent fasting, where you're eating everything you want to eat for 6 hours and then going 13 hours of not eating at all. So there's so many different types of diets, and I know it's like mind-boggling because there's like a gazillion different diets, and it's like, what do I trust? What do I believe in? What really works? Well, the first thing that you have to know is that dieting is kind of a farce. It's kind of a fairy tale, okay? And I'm not saying that dieting doesn't work, but what I am saying is that dieting is meant to work for a short period of time. And once your body has peaked on that diet, it works no more. Why is that? Well, your body is going to respond to any type of shock initially. But then what happens when your body gets used to it? It no longer starts to work. It no longer works. So when you go into different diets and you get really excited because you're doing the diet and you see the numbers on the scale changing, and you get into week 2 and things seem like they are slowing down just a little bit, and then there's no more weight being lost at all, it's because all you did was shock your body for a certain period of time. Okay, just look at it like this. If you are afraid of spiders, we'll say, and someone put a spider in front of you and it made you afraid, and then every day they put that spider in front of you, eventually you're going to find out that this thing is really harmless, especially if it's not one of the poisonous ones. You're going to find out that it's harmless and you're going to stop being afraid of it, right? So, or if for instance there was a dog who attacked you and it had no teeth, well, you're eventually not going to be afraid of it when you find out that it doesn't have the ability to harm you or to bite you in any way. Same thing that happens with dieting. When your body finds out that this does not have the ability to affect me anymore, it becomes very accustomed or used to it, and it no longer takes effect into your body. So that's why dieting is sort of a fairy tale, not something that you want to heavily rely on. Okay, so if all the diets in the world are a complete farce, what do I rely on? So the thing that you want to do is you want to lifestyle shift. You want to change your lifestyle. You want to make modifications to your current lifestyle that will teach your body how to lose weight. Oh my gosh. So let's get into the keto diet just a little bit, because I want to tell you what I feel about the keto diet. So I know some time ago we talked about, meat eating versus not eating meat, being plant-based versus being animal partakers of animal products and things like that. So here's the thing. I am not knocking any one diet. To be perfectly honest, I'm not going to say that I'm vegan, and I'm not going to say that I'm one that eats meats. For me, it's whatever works for my blood. I'm a strong, avid believer of blood type dieting. The type of diet or the type of lifestyle that you use or you incorporate, and you're eating specific foods that work with your body. What is blood type dieting, by the way? Blood type dieting is the concept where you are eating foods that more popularly work with your blood type. So what happens there? Your body takes toxins. Your blood takes the toxins from the food that you're eating, and it filters the toxins from your body, getting rid of the waste. So what happens if, say for instance, you're an O blood type, which is a more carnivore blood type, and you eat some things that don't necessarily work for your blood type? Well, it makes it hard for your blood to break that down, and it makes it hard to eliminate it from your body, making it harder to lose weight. Aha, that's why I am an avid believer of blood type dieting. How do you know if blood type dieting works? Because you just said diets are a fairy tale. You know that blood type dieting actually works because, okay, I want you to do this, okay? Everybody that's watching, do this right now. Think of one thing that you're either allergic to, or think of something that you don't like or you don't care for. Think of something that when you eat, you don't like the taste of it. It makes your stomach feel sick, or maybe you just don't like it when you think about it, like, oh my gosh, I don't like radishes, or oh my gosh, I don't like bread. Or think of something right now. Did you think of something? Okay, let me think of mine. Okay, wheat is something that doesn't agree with me. Okay, so when you think about that one thing, take your blood type, and I want you to go and Google search your blood type diet. I want you to see if that one thing is within the foods that you're not supposed to be eating. Standardly, the things that we are allergic to and the things that we are unattracted to eating, or the things that are distasteful to us, are normally things that don't work with our blood type anyway. For me, I'm allergic to wheat, gluten. I have gluten intolerance, so my body rejects wheat. Well, that goes along with my blood type, because my blood type is O, and for an O blood type, it is known that we do not digest wheat very well. So me being wheat intolerant or gluten intolerant is not a happenstance. You see how that works? For people who are an A blood type, which is a more vegetarian or vegetable-based blood type, You might not be that interested in eating meat very much, but you may be very, 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 very attracted to the idea of eating lots of vegetables. Well, it's probably because that's your blood type. Anyway, all I'm saying is you know that your blood type diet works because typically the things that you don't like are normally within the list of things that you shouldn't be eating anyway. So that's the only diet that I am an avid believer and follower of, and I feel like you should try it out too. Anyway, you can't go wrong with blood type dieting. Anyhow, so let's go back to this keto diet thing, okay? Because I was watching my homegirl. I really love her, Jene Nichole, one that I have avidly followed for many, many years. And she's very educated and very, very well known for her great work that she has done in health and wellness. And yes, I am confident enough in my abilities and who I am in the health and wellness arena to reference someone like her. But she did this interview with Steve Harvey where she was talking about the keto diet. And the keto diet is basically a concept where you eat lots of protein meats and lots of vegetables, but very, very low in carbohydrates, very low carbohydrates. Now, the keto diet is similar to what we used to call the Atkins diet or the South Beach diet. Eat all the meat you want, eat all the vegetables you want, but no to the carbs. Very, very, very low on carbs. And yeah, for people who love meat, it's a really awesome idea that I get to eat all of the chicken and the steak and whatever, bacon and whatever I want to eat. But here's the reality of the keto diet. Other than the fact that it's not good for you, okay? Let's start there. I'm saying that I personally, in my personal opinion, now, what works for you medically, because your doctor may tell you something different based on where your health is, things that may be happening within your health. There may be some type of reason. There may be something going on in your kidneys or your liver that may require for you to follow a low-carb diet if you're diabetic or something like that. Other than that, I am not a believer in the keto diet. Here's why. From my personal opinion and from my studies and from what I've come to study over the years. Your body has to have proteins, carbohydrates, and fats and calories. Those four things. Let's say it again and write this down. I'll say it slow. You need protein, you need fat, you need carbohydrates, and you need a proper amount of caloric intake a day. Now, here's the thing. This is why I don't believe in the keto diet, which is the lots of meat, lots of vegetables, no carbohydrates. Your body on your daily intake, what you're supposed to take in your body between proteins, fats, and carbohydrates and your caloric intake together. Your diet should consist of 50% carbohydrates, okay? So that's 50% carbohydrates. Now the other part of your diet, which is your fats, is supposed to be between 20 and 30%. Okay? We are already up 80% of our diet. Okay? So we've got 50% of your diet, that's carbohydrates. 30% of your diet, that is your fats. And then the other 10 to 20% of your diet are your proteins. With that being said, that is 100% of your diet. So with that being said, your body needs all of these things to operate. If you are choosing to go on a diet of any sort or a lifestyle change of any sort, all you ever want to do is reduce your caloric intake. You should always be at a 500 calorie deficit. For those of you who are wiping your diets out and your body actually needs 2,500, but you're only consuming 1,000, that's harmful to your body. And you don't want to do that. That's not the way to lose weight. And what's going to happen is you'll lose weight for a period of time. And then when your body feels like it's dying, because that actually is the process of starvation, then your body is going to, everything you take in, hold on, and it's going to create these little fat pockets and begin to store everything away because it feels like, I'm starving. And it's going to store everything. It's going to hibernate just like a bear stores everything away for the winter when it hibernates. That's what your body does when it feels like it's starving. When you do these very, very intense 1,000 to 1,500 calorie deficit diets, that's very dangerous for your diet. So let's look at the keto diet again and why I'm not a believer of it. The keto diet says that 80% or 70 to 80% of your diet is your meat intake. 30% is vegetable intake, or let's say 50-50. 50% is your meat intake, 50% is your vegetable intake. Okay, so we've got your proteins there. Lots of protein. You're almost at about 50% of your diet being protein, and we've got lots of we've got very, very little fat. We've got very, very, very little carbohydrates. Well, if your body standardly needs 50% carbohydrates, 30% fats, and 20% protein, you see the imbalance there? So guys, this is why the keto diet doesn't work, because it puts your protein intake way higher than what it should be, and it sets your carbohydrate intake way lower than it should be. You should never be operating off of a 10% carbohydrate diet at any point in time. Okay, I want this to make sense to you, so I'm going to break it down a little bit more. This is something that I teach the people that I work with. I work with lots of people who have obesity, or maybe you're just overweight, or maybe you just want to lose like 5 or 10 pounds or something. Anyway, this is what I teach them. So, in order to lose weight, this is what happens with the body. In order to lose weight, your carbohydrates is the energy source that burns fat. Okay, I'm going to say that again because I want you to get that, because it's so important to this next change that you're about to make. Your carbohydrate source is the energy source that you need to burn fat. You do not burn fat by yourself. That's why when you take in carbohydrates, when you exercise, you burn off carbohydrates, thus burning fat. Fat is not just burned by you just doing exercise. You have to have a source of energy in order to burn fat. Basically, there has to be something in your body that's burning the fat. And that thing that's within your body that's burning the fat is your carbohydrate source. Now, here's the tricky part. All carbohydrates are not created equal. Just because 50% of your diet is carbohydrates does not mean, okay, I'm just going to eat breads and I'm going to eat pies and I'm going to eat white rice. No, there is a difference. There are two sources of carbohydrates, one being your complex carbs and the other being your simple carbs. This is some really, really good teaching, okay? You probably need to pass this on to somebody who's struggling to get healthy, get fit, or lose weight or whatever. Just saying. I just feel really good about it. So complex carbs and simple carbs. Your complex carbs are your better source of carbs. We've talked about this before, but we'll go over it again. What are considered complex carbohydrates? Things like sweet potato. I really like sweet potato, by the way. Things like brown rice, which is a carbohydrate that is high in fiber. It digests really well. Things like that are your complex carbs. What are your simple carbs? Things like your pastries, your donuts, your white breads, your pastas that are full of flour and things like that. Those are simple carbs, okay? Those are the carbs that are actually more sugar than anything, okay? So I want you to begin to do your own personal study and I want you to create a list of your complex carbohydrates that are actually really good sources of carbohydrates for you to eat. Some pastas are even really good sources of carbohydrates. Because I'm gluten intolerant, I eat a type of pasta that is 4 different grains. That is quinoa, brown rice, and like 2 other things. But anyway, they're really, really good sources of complex carbohydrates. And when I consume them, I am consuming the type of carbohydrates that I need to burn fat. That's why I lose a pound just about every day. I put something on and take something off every day, just because I'm eating the type of carbohydrates that work to burn fat. Okay? So that's why, going back to the keto diet, I'm not a huge fan of the keto diet, simply because the keto diet says eat lots and lots of meat proteins and eat very, very little carbohydrates. And anytime you eliminate the carbohydrate source from your body, which is what you need to burn fat, you're eliminating the very tool that you need to actually lose weight and burn fat. So if any of you are on a journey to just shed a few pounds, or maybe you're just wanting to maintain your weight, okay, because everyone is not trying to lose weight. I mean, I know America is at like a 70% obesity rate, obese and overweight, and that is among women, that is among adults and children together, over 70%. But everyone is not. What about the other 30%? If you're just trying to maintain your weight, the same thing. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you another really important tool. So I really love this one website. I use this all the time. I use it for myself. I use it for my clients. I use it for almost everyone. And it actually works really well because it gives you a clear breakdown of what you need to be consuming. What I love about it is that all you have to do is input your age, your height, and your weight, and your goal, and it will tell you specifically, this is how much protein you need, this is how many carbs you need, this is how much fat that you need. So here's the thing about fats. Anyway, and I'll give you the website in just a second. The thing about fats is you actually do need fats to lose weight too. There are healthy sources of fat. And what you call BCAAs, or branch chain amino acids, okay? I'm not going to get too deep into that because I don't want to take stuff over your head, but just know that you actually do need a fat source as well to lose weight. You remember what I said about the breakdown? 50% carbohydrates, 30% fats, and 20% protein. The funny thing is, the thing that you need the least is protein, which is your meat source. Guys, come on. So how does a keto diet work when it tells you to eat more animals or more meat than anything, when the thing that you need least is meat? Okay, just saying. So going back to the fat, needing your fat in order to lose weight, because your body on a daily basis, your diet should consist of 30% fat. You do need healthy fats. There are healthy fats, guys. So here's the thing about fats. This is where we tend to get a little bit out of control. Just because we need healthy fats, just because healthy fats is the 30% of the diet, that doesn't mean that we get to overconsume healthy fats. You should be checking the label on everything that you consume to see how much fat. So, standardly, your diet will tell you, okay, you probably need 40 grams of fat a day. Here's where we go wrong with fats. So, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, okay? This is a tablespoon. You see that? This is, let me make it a little smaller. This is a tablespoon of fat right here. Healthy fat, because olive oil is healthy fat. 2 of these, okay, is 14 grams of fat, okay? So if 2 of these is 14 grams of fat, let's think about how much we actually cook with. Anything, even if you were cooking like sauté spinach. Because I used to be the type of person that went completely out of control and like slather the whole skillet with olive oil and all that stuff, and then I didn't realize how much fat I was actually taking in. So if 2 tablespoons is 14 grams, let's just be realistic. I would say that I used to use about 6 tablespoons. Nah, I'm lying. Honestly, that was a story. I probably would use like 8 tablespoons of olive oil to slather at the bottom of my pan. And I'm being generous because I honestly think it was more like 10. Okay? Just saying. But we do that because we want our food to be full and robust, and we want that nice oily flavor because it tastes so good, right? And it adds this flavor to your food. So let's say 14 grams of fat, another 2, which is 4, 28 grams of fat. Oh my gosh, we're already up to 28 grams of fat from that alone. Let's say you do what I do and you use 8 grams. That's 64 grams of fat. Well, if your diet says that you can only have 40 grams of fat to maintain your weight, we are well over what we're supposed to be consuming. Now, let's say that you ate a piece of like fried chicken or something like that. We cook fried chicken. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you, but the way that my family cooks fried chicken is we fill the bottom of the pan, the skillet, with about, I'll say, 4 cups of oil, vegetable, whether it's vegetable oil or canola oil or olive oil or peanut oil. Oil is oil and it's all high in fat. So could you imagine taking your chicken, first coating it in flour and then putting it in that that oil. What happens to that oil once that chicken is fried and you take the chicken out? What happens to that oil? It's less than what it started. So it may have started with about 4 cups of oil, but by the time that your chicken just consumes it and sucks up all of the oil in the skin, now it's about 2 cups, okay? So with that, all of that oil being in the chicken, how much of that oil do you think that you're taking in by eating just 1 piece of fried chicken? You're probably eating like, oh my gosh, probably 8 to 10 to 12, maybe 14 tablespoons of oil. We're talking about over 100 grams of fat, when your diet says that you're only supposed to have about 40 grams a day. Do you see where I'm going with this? All I'm saying, guys, is you want to begin to pay clear attention to how much fat you intake or you take into your diet every day. Although you do need it. And I do strongly believe that sometimes, because we're so afraid to consume fat, we can eliminate it and think, oh my gosh, I'm just going to get rid of the fat and I'm going to lose weight. Well, you do need the fat, but you don't need as much as we typically consume through things like fried food, through, oh my gosh, one of my favorite, I just got thrown off because I thought about my favorite salad dressing. Most of my favorite salad dressing, if it's ranch, if it's anything that's oil-based, if it's like a raspberry vinaigrette, pay attention to how much fat is in 1 tablespoon. You will typically find like 14 grams of fat in 1 tablespoon. Honey mustard, honey Dijon, different salad dressings, even the ones that are a little bit healthier, balsamic vinaigrette, they tend to have like 5 to 6 grams of fat. And when we drench it all over our salads, we don't know that we've just drenched like 8 tablespoons of fat, and we've actually consumed like 64 grams, I think that was the right calculation, of fat every day. So guys, pay close attention to how much you're taking in on a daily basis. So, because the best way that you can be successful in losing weight is making sure that you're tracking everything closely, okay? I'm super excited about that because I feel like you guys learned something. Anyway, that's what I have for you today, and I hope that you learned something. Follow me online on social media. Email me your questions at mytemplefit@gmail.com, and I will be so excited to see you on next month. Yay! I'm Fit Coach Jene, and I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye!